Good morning. I am Mallory Capps, the Children and Youth Director, and I have the amazing privilege of speaking with the Edmondson family. This is Patrick, Leanne, Benjamin, and Abigail, and they have been a part of our church for a very long time, but I'm going to let Leanne tell their origin story. So, how did you come to St. John's, Leanne?
My mother and father-in-law, Debbie and R.W. Edmondson, were members here, and they encouraged Patrick and I to start coming to church here to visit. So we were in search of a church at the time, and being in Indian land, we were just kind of searching, figuring out where we're going to go. So anyway, we gave it a try, and we really liked the congregation here, and just kind of always felt a part of the church and could feel how tight everybody was. And
at that time, it was just you and Patrick, right?
Yes.
So you hadn't had Benjamin and Abigail yet.
Right.
Patrick, had you been a part of this church? But I know y'all grew up in Virginia.
Yeah, I had not.
Because by the time they moved down here, you were in college and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were already going here, and they talked about how much they loved the church, so we decided to give it a shot, and I'm glad we did.
And so when y'all started coming here, I know me and RW actually had a very long conversation on Wednesday night of how much of a journey it was to get you two beautiful youngins into this world. So can you share a little bit about that?
So we reached a point in our lives where we were ready to start a family, but had no idea what kind of challenge we were going to be faced with. And we just ended up having to get some help. And along with that help, we were very, we were very aware that we were going to need a lot of prayers. So it was a long journey, and we had our family praying for us, and then after some attempts that failed, we just knew that it was going to be in God's hands from the very beginning, no matter what happened, obviously. But we reached out to our families, and my family started asking their church to pray, and of course our family here at this church was starting to pray. So we trusted in God that through the power of prayer that we would eventually have our family. We had no idea how much patience it was going to take, and how much spiritual belief that it was going to take for us. Patrick and I constantly had people from church telling us that they were praying for us. And we really did appreciate that and believe that that was going to help us. So yeah, we had some sad times, but eventually Benjamin and Abigail were and still are, of course, our miracle babies. But you know, Patrick and I talk a lot, even today, about that journey, and we know that it was just always God's plan. We just really held on to the fact that God was going to lead us to the timing and the place where it was going to happen, and we just
had so many people in our church family praying for us. The power of prayer is very real, and they embraced us. You know, on paper the odds were not very good, but we overcame that by just a lot of people, you know, almost willing these kids here, including their mother. So we just never quit. And our church family, they continued to pray and encourage. And anyway, we were fortunate to have a good ending. So funny story, shortly after we had done one of our procedures, and Leanne and I were walking, we were talking about everything, and she said to me, well, I believe we're gonna have twins. And I remember laughing, saying, Leanne, let's don't be greedy here. Let's just hope for one. But that's just Leanne. She didn't quit. She wanted 2 children. That's what we got. So that is a true story.
I know I have the honor of having you two kids in my youth group, and I get to hang out with y'all. And we've talked a lot, especially this month. We've been talking about Daniel and what he did and how he defied the culture around him. And when I've talked about things kids have in their daily lives to connect them to God, both of you guys talked about prayer time before bed, right? That you pray before you go to bed at night. Have you done that since you were a little kid? Itty bitty. Did you go in there and pray with them, Leanne? Or yeah.
Yep. Now I just always remind them to make sure they say their prayers before falling asleep. But yeah, that's just, prayer has always been important for us growing up, and then as adults, and then making sure that Benjamin and Abigail have the love of God surrounding them, and they're knowledgeable of His love and His care and power.
I think we all know that prayer makes a big difference in our world and the world of those around us. And as members of St. John's, we should be praying for each other and the world around us. And thank y'all for talking to me about how much prayers played a part in your life.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.